Guyman here with King of Pressure Wash, and tonight I'm excited. I'm excited for tonight because I just came off of an amazing class and it was awesome. And I will talk more about that class. And I'm also just going to talk about, I know I put it as the ultimate guide for your pressure washing business. And so I'm going to go through and show you kind of what you need for marketing, what you need, just kind of a whole guide of what you need so you can start, grow, and be successful. And so that is the key to the end of that, is grow and be successful. And so with that, we will get talking here about what all we can help you do so that you can grow and build your business so you can have a business and not a job. Who wants a job? Nobody wants a job. How many people in here have a job? Probably more than you want to recognize. But we want to have a business, not a job. And so before we get started here, I'll wait till some people join on here. I'm excited because this week's class was freaking amazing. We got to see Chris sell going in for a $400 easy breezy window cleaning and turn that into a $3,800 sale, which it ended up being $3,300 for. He sold the house wash, the driveway cleaning, the building, the roof clean, the window cleaning, the whole 9 yards. Hopefully I don't die on you before I get there. So it was freaking awesome. It was awesome to see a bunch of you guys that were in there. There was about 10 or 11 guys, and they got a really good experience. This class, we talked a lot about everything I normally do, but we actually added sales. We added about the love languages and DISC, and everybody was like, what is that? But by the end of the class, they got it. They understood it. And so this is something that I will be bringing into more of my classes, and because it is something that will help you sell and help you get those higher tickets and help you understand people. And it will help you for when you're selling. We're not selling pressure washing, right? We're selling other things that we know that will help us sell. And so that's what we will talk more about here in a little bit. But this is some things that I'm excited because it was an amazing class. Everybody felt like I felt everybody learned, and there was a lot of people. So this week's tool of the week is kingofmarketing.io. I know that is mine. Mr. Chris said I had a blast and Jason killed it. He laid it out, the technical side, like a boss. And so this is something that kingofmarketing.io, if you need a website, one of the biggest things that kill small businesses is they don't answer the phone. And with King of Marketing, you can have the callback text callback, missed call text callback. So that way, when you miss a phone call, it will text them right away. Or when you get a new form submitted, it will send you a message. Did you know that by you not getting back to that person within 5 minutes of submitting that form, the likelihood of you closing that job goes down to like 1% in 5 minutes? So when you're getting your forms, are you getting them responded back to quickly? So if you want to go check it out, you can go check out kingofmarketing.io. Good evening, student of the game, here to learn. Jason taught the marketing side and phone scripts so everyone could implement. All right, so book of the week. Book of the week is, I just started reading. I actually watched the video, and I would recommend you to watch the video if you haven't watched the video. It is called Drawing a Blank. What is it? The Rich Book. I am drawing a bridge. Dang Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't watched it, I would recommend you load it up and check it out. Think and Grow Rich. You can actually watch the video form of it, and not the whole 7-hour video. I'm actually reading the 7-hour book now, or 10-hour book, but there is about an hour to 2-hour video. I would highly recommend you to watch it. I watched it on the way down to Myrtle Beach on the flight, and I would highly recommend you to do the same thing. It is something that it's all about up here, guys. You know, we talk a lot about, you know, we talking about pressure washing, and it's one of those things that, yes, it is good, but pressure washing is just one thing, one part of this business, right? If we want to grow a successful business, pressure washing is a $15, $20 an hour job. That's all it is. If you want to go sell a $15, $20 an hour job, then that's fine. That's what you're going to get when you go out there and sell a $15, $20 an hour job. But if you want to grow it as a business, we have to take the other things and bring it all together. We got to bring the sales in. We got to bring the marketing in. We got to bring the business aspect, right? We got to know our numbers. We got to know what we're doing, so that way we can grow the business, so that way when we want to be able to have financial freedom, we will have it. If you're selling pressure washing, you're selling a $15, $20 an hour task, and you will never get off that gun if you don't understand and have a mind shift change, so that way you can start growing your business. It's not rocket science. You know, I've taught many people that I would have never expected for where they are, but they are where they are because they took action. And 99% of this is just taking action. It's scary, it's hard, but it can be done. You take baby steps, and when you take baby steps, it will be amazing at the end of it. So let's go in here and see who all we got here. We got Mr. Alex. Hello, Jason. How are you doing? Mr. Jeremy, the king, is in the building. Mr. Daryl, how are you doing? Gino from Southwest Florida. Artie, he's Jason, and everybody. Waiting on water on a commercial job. Let's get it, fellas. I hate that. There ain't nothing worse than waiting on water. How to get started? Get started. Take action. You're right. 100%. Take action. 100%. So, let's see. We got Trisha in the house. We got John in the house. What's up? The audio video guy putting out yard signs like a mad man. They really work. They do work. I wouldn't tell you to use them if they didn't work. They do work amazing. If you're not using yard signs, unless you just absolutely can't, they will work very good. Got Mr. Antone in here. How are you doing? Good evening, student of the game, here to learn. We got from Canada, one from Canada, wonder where the other 2 or 3 from Canada are. We got Pink Robin. How are you doing? There's the other Canadian right there. How's it going? We got Pink Robin again. What's up, Jason, here in Illinois from Adam. Bought a book and read the first time about 20 years ago, 10 years ago, time to reread it. It is a very good book. I've been enjoying it as I'm reading it so far. What's up, family? All right, Mr. F-Bomb in the house. I went out and walked to 10 different stores and going to work on individual bids, plus the whole property man. This is what I call walk and talk meet. Introducing your small business. Absolutely, 100%. Just order 750 more yard signs. 3rd order this year. David taking action. David slaying it, right? That's what it's all about. You know, and that's something, right? You might say, well, those big businesses don't need to do yard signs. They do. There's parts of the puzzle that you got to do everything, right? There's no one meet all, do all. You can do everything, and I can just spend thousands of dollars on ads and do nothing else. That's not the case, right? as we grow, we got to find out how to get leads from every source that we can, and it is hard when you're first starting, because you're like, man, you want me to do this, and you want me to do that, and you want me to do this, and you want me to do that, and I don't. That's why I say pick one or two and get good at it. People like Chris and people like David's been in this business for years. This isn't just something that you just magically poof and there you can get up to there, right? It takes time, and you learn what works and what doesn't work and what gets you an ROI. And when you start looking at your numbers, it will help you understand that, hey, you know what? Yard signs brought me in $200,000. Yard signs brought me in $300,000. Facebook ads brought me in $100,000. Google ads brought me in $100,000. Referrals brought me in $200,000. And the next thing you know, you look and you're at $1 million, right? These are the things that we have to do. Now, that is on large scale. I know that's on large scale, and that's fine. But you know what? There's nothing special about people out there at the end of the day. You just got to take action. You know what action is taken? Is buying 750 yard signs. But that's only one part of the action, because you can be like DJ down the road here from me. He got 750 yard signs sitting in the garage that's been sitting there for last year because he never put them out. And yes, I'm getting on you, DJ, again, because I love you and I'm trying to help you out in any way I can. Every $1 we spend on a yard sign last year brought in $19. We track everything. So that brought in $19. I know Moses said it brings in $47 every yard sign they put out. So when you know your numbers, that's a pretty good ROI. I will take $1 and get $19 back. Who wouldn't do that, right? You're stupid not doing that. It's a very smart thing to do. All right, let's get started here. I know I'm going to run through this pretty quick, but I'm actually doing a blog, and you should probably do blogs too if you're doing other things than just whatever. And so if you're doing a blog, that's what I'm doing, and I'm actually reading. I'm going to be kind of putting this in a blog form, and then what I will do is I will take this video and put in that blog, because videos help our blog, right? The longer we keep people on blogs, the better off we are. And yes, blogs still do work for your individual pressure washing business. It's not just Jason doing blogs, but other people can do blogs, so that way I'm just preaching what I'm teaching, right? I'm teaching you to do it, and I'm doing it myself. You know what I learned? When I teach you all stuff and I started implementing it in my own business, it works even for me, right? Last year I taught about Facebook ads, or not Facebook ads, about Facebook. And I started implementing in my business. And guess what? It blows up. So today, and I know this is something that is something that's a touchy story, but I have lost over 40 pounds. I was to a point in my life that I almost hit a number I was at 319. I'm like, there's no way in Hades I'm going to hit 320. And so I was like, I'm changing my mind. I'm changing my mindset. I'm changing how I think. I'm changing how I'm going to eat. And I did it. And I started on the carnivore diet. So all I eat is meat. I will eat a little vegetables if I'm eating out or whatnot, but that's all I eat. And I have lost 40 pounds. I'm down to 3. I haven't weighed in this week, but I'm down to 382 as of last Monday. I usually weigh in on Monday, so I haven't lost quite 40 pounds. I should be down 40 pounds after I weigh in tomorrow. But it's not something that, it was literally somebody like this guy here saying, hey, Jason, do this, eat the carnivore diet. He's been on it for 4 years. And so I'm like, okay, I guess I'll have to do something. But it's actually, once I've changed my mindset on how I look at food, how I think about myself, it's been a lot easier for me to do it, right? I've thought that would be really hard. I have had one cheat day in 8 weeks, which is pretty freaking awesome. So with that, I've been able, and I haven't even thought about food. I have been drinking water, and so I haven't had no pop. I haven't had nothing. And so it is awesome. And that's an awesome congratulations on MTH. He's lost 22 pounds, which is awesome, dude. That is very cool for you also, and I'm proud of you for doing that too. Goal is losing 50. My goal is to get down to 250, which would be 70 pounds is what it would be when I get there. All right. Talked to a guy at the pressure washing store that has 5 trucks and got talking to him and asked him a bunch of questions. And he told me for advertising purposes, he barely does advertising. How is that? We'll talk a little bit about that. How many yard signs a week should I be putting out? And I don't have any employees, it's just me. All right, let's get started on here, and then I'll answer your questions when I get done here. So how do we start a pressure washing business? First off, what is pressure washing, right? Pressure washing, soft washing, what's the difference? Well, the difference is pressure washing destroys stuff, and soft washing can destroy stuff too if we don't know what we're doing and not using the right chemicals, and we can overkill stuff. So pressure washing, one is just high pressure, and soft washing is all about using chemicals to clean. You know, this is something that when I was growing up and I went to high school, and you probably did too, and you might have went to college, and they taught you this thing about the pH scale. Well, at the time, the pH scale meant absolutely nothing to me. I'm a full-time firefighter, and they teach you the pH scale in firefighting, right? If it does this, you do this. If it does that. And even then, I didn't understand it very well at all. And so I was like, 7, 0, 14. I know all about it, but I didn't really care about it. Even as a diesel mechanic, I never really cared about it. It's not something that I needed to know. And so as I started pressure washing, I learned out that the pH scale has a whole lot to do with pressure washing. Who would have thought that we go off the pH scale? So when people come up to me and say, hey, Jason, how do I clean this? I'm always like, well, what is it, right? We have to identify the first to know if we can clean it. If it's organic, mold, stand stains, all of that kind of stuff, then we're going to clean it with sodium hypochlorite, right? That's going to clean anything organic. And then when we get to the inorganics, is it oil? Then we're going to go up to the 14s, the 12s, the 13s, and do the bases, the alkaline. That's how we're going to clean that. Them are our degreasers are up in there. Actually, sodium hypochlorite's like a 13. And then if we get into our acids, we're down in the zeros, 2, 3s, and here we're going to put in we're going to do rust removal, battery stain removal, efflorescence. All of those are down there in that lower category. So we're going to figure out what it is, and then we're going to use it and neutralize it to get it back to 0, so that way we can fix our problem. And this is how we soft wash, by using low pressure and not high pressure. High pressure damages stuff. That's just what you're going to do with high pressure. If you try to high pressure something, you're going to kill it and you're going to damage whatever you're trying to clean. And so these are things that we have to think about when we are using pressure, right? We can use high pressure, and here's something else that I want to hit on, because we use a pressure washer, but we use low pressure, right? The size of our nozzles is going to allow it to be small or bigger, so it's not going to have as much high pressure. But you still got to be careful with us using a pressure washer. I have some pretty gruesome pictures in my in-person training stuff, because I want you to know that this gun of a pressure washing gun can hurt you. It can shoot you. It can go through and cause damage to your skin. It can get into your bloodstream. I show a picture where it gets in his finger, and it took 4 surgeries so he don't lose his finger, right? These are things that we have to remember when we're dealing with high pressure. And yes, we're using a pressure washer with low pressure, but when we pull that trigger, that's 3,000 to 4,000 PSI right out of the get-go before it drops down. There's an unloader on the pressure washer that builds 3,000 to 4,000 PSI when we let off the gun. When we pull the trigger, it's going to make it go, and that's 3,000 to 4,000 PSI. It is something that we have to be careful with. It can be very dangerous what we're dealing with. And so these are some things that we have to think about as we are starting a pressure washing. So the first thing is we can come up with a name. And so as we come up with a name or a brand, it is good because sometimes we need to talk about what we actually want to call our business. A lot of times I see some names and I'm like, why are we calling it this? Because that's what you've decided to call it. And I don't always go with those names, but I would personally recommend you to name a business something with pressure washing in it. If you ever go to Google and you type in pressure washing, what do you see? It will 9 times out of 10, it will have the word pressure washing in the name. There, you got to do really good work to have a whole nother name in there besides pressure washing. So picking this can be real easy. Now, this is something that you can do and don't think about it forever. And pick a logo. If you want to build a logo, if you don't know where to get a logo, you can go to freelancer.com, and there you can do a contest for $20-$30 and they will make you a logo. You tell them what you want and they will make you a logo. You can go to Fiverr. They'll make you a logo for $5-$10. It's a logo. My logos were built off of Freelancer. I put $30 on it and I had over 100 people submit different ideas, and as I type I like this and this, new ones come in, and so they will kind of go with what you're looking for. So this is something that we can do for a logo. I know people that will get stuck here because they can't get their logo, and it's like, move on. Pick it, move on. You can change it later. There's nothing here that we can't change later. The name, I originally called my business ProServe Group, and then I realized that nobody can find me on ProServe Group because their Service Pro or whatever that was coming up more than me. And so that's where I came up with Pressure Wash Cincinnati. And I also knew that Google liked Pressure Wash Cincinnati. And guess what? I was able to rank my website because my name was Pressure Wash Cincinnati. And these are some things that we have to think about when we're building it. Next, you need license, and what's a license for a pressure washing business? Usually you go to your city or your county and you say, I need a license. All it is you give them money and they'll give you a business license. Now, and sometimes in certain states, you might need a contractor's license or something along those lines, depending on where you are. That's a big if. There's different places for that. Next is we need chemicals, but we don't need all these chemicals. There's a lot of chemicals out there, and there's people that love to sell chemicals. Why do they love to sell chemicals? Because there's about a 300 to 400 markup percentage on chemicals. And so this is a way that they make a lot of money off of you, is off of chemicals. So you need sodium hypochlorite, and you may need a surfactant. That can get you about 90% of the jobs that you're going to do. Now, if you live in a place that has red clay stains like Georgia or down there, you're probably going to need some acid to be able to get those off. But you can do a whole lot with just sodium hypochlorite and keeping it simple, right? I'm not saying we got to have all of this stuff, all of these different chemicals. If we come up with these different stains, then fine. We will put in those stains and we will do what we need to do for those stains. And we'll charge for those stains when we get them. I know Jason Hefner, he bought all of them in the beginning. He was the one that went, oh, they said I need this, and oh, I need this. And this YouTube video said I need all of these. And they sat on his shelf for 2-3 years. And they just sat there, right? Because we never did those things, and they just sat there. So we spent a bunch of money on it, where if we'd have put that money in part of our signs and part of our different things, then that would have been a way that we could have kept our business and keep it growing here. We need insurance. We need workers' comp, or we need general liability insurance. You want to make sure that your general liability insurance is going to cover plant damage. A lot of times, a lot of your general liability insurance doesn't cover plant damage. And if it doesn't cover plant damage, you can spend $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 when you kill a bunch of bushes by accident, and now you got to come out of your own pocket because it didn't cover plant damage. So we need to make sure that we have workers' comp if we're going to have employees. And yes, workers' comp can be expensive. So for me, workers' comp in Kentucky was like 20 grand for me just to be able to get workers' comp. So I moved my business over to Ohio, so that way my workers' comp was through the state and it was a lot cheaper. Now, sometimes you don't have that option. I live right next to Ohio. I also live right next to Indiana. I'm 20 minutes from Ohio. I'm 20 minutes from Indiana. And so I work in the tri-state. So I also have to have insurance that I can work in all 3 states with my workers' comp. It is something that you need to be able to make sure that you are covered with your insurance. And then next thing you need is commercial auto insurance. You need this to keep your business stuff away from your personal stuff. If you have liabilities like a house and 401s and stuff like that, and you don't want to get sued, we need to make sure that we have our difference between our businesses. We need to have set up an LLC. We can do that through the state. We can go to the state. Again, it's to keep our liabilities from getting us sued and our personal stuff doing it. You know, you could get in a bad car wreck and kill somebody, and if you have your car and your personal insurance and you have all your lettering on there, then they could come after you personally and get anything after you. So these are things that we have to think about when we are talking about insurance. Insurance is something that it sucks and it pays a lot, and there's a lot of things, you know. And as I keep talking about all this stuff, this is why we have to have a pricing strategy for our pressure washing business, right? We can't be a $99 guy. No, there's nothing else you can help me with. You can't be a $99 guy and think that you're going to be okay because you got all this stuff to cost of the cost, right? And I haven't even got into the parts of our equipment and that. I'm just talking about the monthly, yearly expenses that it costs to run a business, right? I said in the beginning of this video that the guy pressure washing is a $20 an hour job. But as we run a business, this is all part of running a business so that we can be successful and we can make money, right? And so when we're trying to make money, these are the things we have to do. Also, when we're pricing stuff, you need to make sure that your state may or may not have to put taxes on it, right? You may have to tax sales tax on your stuff. In Kentucky, about 2 or 3 years ago, when the teachers union got with Bevin, they made it the luxury tax, and so now you got to charge 6% on those services. And so these are some things that you have to think about as we're running our business. I seen somebody ask a question about taxes. So what I would recommend on that is a book that's called Profit First. I would highly recommend you to read Profit First. Profit First, it's made by Mike Kalawazinski, and it's a great book. And especially if you don't understand business, it's one of my best starting out books for you. If you're going to start reading books, it's a great book to start reading because it talks about starting your business in profit and not in the poor, in a job. And so with that, it talks about 5 bank accounts. Yes, 5 bank accounts. And so when there, you want to set money aside for your taxes. Now, this tax and your sales tax and this other tax are 2 different things, right? The tax for your businesses is here. Your sales tax is here. Usually, depending on how much you're selling, you might have to do this monthly. Usually, this tax, you're doing it yearly or quarterly, depending on how much you're doing. And so someone has said, how much should you set aside? I would recommend 15% is a good spot to put into that tax category. So tax bank account is a good one, right? If you just put all your money in one account, you'll be like, "Ooh, look at all this money," and it's just gone. And then you'll be like one of the guys I had on about a year or 2 ago that he did $250,000, $300,000, and he owed $25,000, $30,000 come April, and he's like, "I ain't got it," because he done spent it. So because he never put that money aside, so he didn't spend it. And so this is why it is important that we make sure that we do what we want to do of putting it aside. There's the profit account, there's a owner's expenses account, and I don't know what the other ones are, but go read the book, or you can look it up and it'll tell you what you can do there. So that's what we need to be able to make sure that we have the stuff that we need to be able to start a business, right? I haven't even gotten into marketing. I haven't even gotten into equipment. And so and it can get overwhelming sometimes. And so we talked about the DISC people, and if you're a C-type person, if you're the type of person that has to have everything perfect and you got to have all the facts and everything, this can be a stumbling block for you. This could be stuff that takes you a lot longer because you got to make sure that you got everything on top of everything, that you got all your questions answered, right? If you're the D and an I, and you're like myself, if you're like Donovan, if you're like Chris, it's go with the flow, let's get it done, let's not worry about it and make it happen, right? But if you're that other type of personality that you want to make sure you got to have all your I's, dots, and everything, then that's another whole part of where we need to be thinking about. So as we start doing marketing, we got to figure out how to get customers. And again, I haven't even started talking about equipment. And I know that when we think about starting a pressure washing business, we think about all this amazing equipment that I need. And we get into the equipment game and we got to worry about equipment. And the next thing we know, we're spending $20,000, $30,000 on equipment because some guy on YouTube told me to buy all this equipment, but yet that will make you this much money. $0. Donovan will go and buy your $15,000, $20,000 equipment for $7,000, $8,000 a year or two down the road because he's done it. He's done it a couple times because people come in there and they think that equipment is what's going to grow their business, and that is not what's going to grow your business. I'm going to show you a basic setup that you can do everything for not that much money, right? But that's not where I'm going with this, right? We got to advertise. How are we going to advertise, right? What are we going to do? We talked about somebody putting out getting 750 signs. We talk about Chris is going to put out 200 signs a month. We talk about other people that are going to put out 6,000 signs within a certain amount of time. And why are they going to do this? Because they know it makes money. And so as we start growing and learning, you will know what works in your business. And so it is important that we use a website, right? Go to kingofmarketing.com or kingofmarketing.io, or we use yard signs. Go to moneybushes.com, right? We love Money Bushes. Social media, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're going to do optimization for search engine optimization. We're going to make sure we show up in Google Local, Google Maps. We're going to show up in all of these places. We're not going to sit there and worry about our equipment because equipment is not what's going to make you the money. And I know I keep hitting on this and I harping on this and I keep pushing it, but there's a reason why. Because I see so many people come into this business and so many people go out of this business because they don't have a plan. They have a plan of, I want to start a pressure washing business. I want to go buy equipment and I'm going to go start spraying water on a house and I'm going to make $100 and I'm going to tear up stuff because I haven't done what I needed to do to make sure that I'm successful, right? And that is the key to this. It's not about looking at this and being like, well, I'm gonna go buy a pressure washer and I'm gonna go wash me some driveways. I'm gonna go wash some houses. I'm gonna do different things, right? It's about making sure that we have a business, right? We're getting our 5-star reviews. We're doing all the stuff as a business owner. It's not easy to be a business owner sometimes. It can be hard. It can be really hard. I have never said it's easy. I never will say it easy, right? What is your action plan? What is your plan so that you can be successful? What are you going to do? Are you going to get your LLC? Write it down. Write down your plans so you can check that stuff off and make sure that you're doing the things that you do. Charge more than you think you can get by with. Don't be afraid to ask for money. We are the highest in 2 by 30%, charge enough to be able to save from marketing. And this is a man coming from words of wisdom, right? It is so true. I see so many people are so scared to charge. This is what they think. Well, this is the first thing. You can never get that out of my area. I guarantee you, I would bet $100 right now, there is $79 and $99 guys in David Hamill's area. I would bet I would bet my wallet on it right now that there is $75 and $90 and $199 that he's going in there and selling $1,000, $2,000 jobs, right? I saw it with Chris. Chris went in there for a $400 window clean, came out with a $3,300 bid, right? Because he isn't the $99 guy. He knows his worth. You need to know your worth. Quit buying out of your own wallet. When you buy out of your own wallet, you are going to go broke. You will go broke. You will go out of business and sell all your equipment. Because when you don't charge enough, and if your average ticket's only $300, that means if you do 10% in marketing, that means you can only spend $30 to get a customer. But if I can get my average ticket up to $1,000, I can spend $100 on a new customer that's going to be an amazing customer. And so when we start thinking about this is why I told you to go get the book Think and Grow Rich, because it talks about this up here. 9 times out of selling is this up here. There's nothing special about anybody that's selling high price. Is they've gotten a mind shift change and quit thinking out of their own personal wallet or their own personal things, and they're thinking out where people are. Now, but Jason, I can only got a 50% close rate. Good. You don't want a 75% close rate. You're too cheap. You don't want a 60% close rate. You're too cheap. Raise your prices. Right? Now, Chris Johnson's got a 60% close rate, but his average ticket is $1,600. I'll give him a 60%. But if you got a 60% close rate and you're at $300, you need to raise your prices. Automation is very good for business. It is 100%. Go check out kingofmarketing.io. I've got a whole lot of marketing in there for you. Did you know that homeowners wanting a $99 job is named Karen? You just won't want to deal with him. And it is true. You know, that is the funniest thing. That right there is the funniest things. The cheapest customers are your biggest pain in the necks. And I'm not even just saying that to say that. Your cheapest customers will nickel and dime you to death. They will call you back 3-4 times, and they are the worst customers. Because $100, $200 is a lot of money to some of those people. $500, $1,000 to people that are making 6 figures isn't nothing. But those people that are only making $50,000, $60,000 and they live in the smaller houses and you're only charging $200, those customers, $200 is a lot of money to them. But you take someone that's at the 6-figure mark, that's not a lot of money to them, and that's why it makes life a lot easier for those types of people. So again, you want to make sure that you have your stuff. Now, I'm going to share my screen here, and I'll kind of go over some equipment that we can start with. I'm not big on this pressure washer, but I couldn't find another pressure washer on here. But we need a pressure washer, 4 gallon a minute or more. Don't even start off with a low pressure washer. Start off with a 4 gallon a minute or more. I recommend that you can get on the Honda 390, you can get the 5 minute a gallon, and it actually will work better than the 4 gallon a minute on here. This is the Uberflex hose. It's crazy hose. It don't even have wire in it. It does work pretty good, and it's super light, super light. You need about 150 feet you need about 200 feet of this hose, of the pressure wash hose. You need about 200 feet of garden hose, and then you either need an X-Jet, like this thing up here in the top, or you need a downstream injector. I personally like the downstream injector. You don't have to carry chemical around. You can keep everything on the truck. You will either need the M5 or you will need the J-Rod, something along those J-Rods. And then you need a surface cleaner. And then you want to hear, I got one that I'll throw some people out of the water. You can literally use a pump-up sprayer to do roofs. And I know people that have done it. I've got people in my class. They're doing over $100,000, and because they don't do that much, and that's how they've done it. I don't recommend it, but I just did it because it's kind of funny and that. And then you need bleach, sodium hypochlorite. I don't recommend you buying this $25 a gallon one, but I needed a picture of it, and that's why I just put it there so I'd have a picture of it. But this is everything you need to start a pressure washing business. With this here and with some smarts and knowing how to do marketing, you literally can do as much as you want to do. You could do $100,000 with this right here. If you have half a brain, you're charging the right prices, and you know what, and you can start turning customers. And so you don't need all of this big rig. You don't need it. I promise you. I mean, we was looking at Chris's equipment, and the one trailer is very, very basic. It's not crazy. It ain't got a bunch of stuff on it, but it is something that you can do to make this happen. And so this is basically what you need to be able to get started. If you want to start and you got business, the best thing you can do is see if you can go out there and close. If you can't close, then learn how to. Start reading books on how to sell. Go read the 10X books. It's a great book for you to read if you don't know how to sell. Go read Zig Ziglar's book. Go read, who else? Grant Cardone's books, right? Anything about selling. These are things that you need to do so that way you will be able to grow your business. And so it is definitely something that marketing is everything, right? Thomas Harris came to he was one of my first in-person classes that I did. And so it was right before COVID. Actually, I don't know if he was one of the first ones, but I remember it was in my early days. It was right around COVID when it happened, 2020. And so marketing is everything. But you know what? I want to hit on Thomas. Thomas, you can come up with all the excuses in the world why you can't do this, right? Thomas could come up with I know what Thomas is. He could come up with, I'm too old to do this. Thomas is in his late 50s, might even be early 60s. I don't know. I know he's older gentleman. And so he could come up with 100 excuses. He worked at a plant, and so he could have came up with 100 excuses of why he can't do it, right? But he's not, and he's being successful at it. And that's the awesome thing about what you can do when you're starting to grow your business. You can have the excuse of too young, too old, and that's the book I would recommend you to read. That book is The Magic of Thinking Big. It was written in the 1950s. It's still relevant today. Most books that you read today, copy out of that book, The Magic of Thinking Big. It's a great book. I highly recommend that book for you also. So I am to the point where I need to buy better equipment to keep up. Should I finance the equipment and spend money in the marketing, or should I pay for the equipment in cash? Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. Raise your prices. And if you need to buy a better pressure washer, you buy a better pressure washer. We don't need to go buying all this equipment. If you don't know, it's back to be smart about it. I was actually talking about whether you go in debt or not. I'm not a big fan of debt, because if you go and buy this big high dollar pressure washer and you don't know how to market and you know how to get business, then you're just in debt. Other than a 4 gallon a minute pressure washer and a downstream injector, that's literally all you need. You don't need anything other than that. You literally can go get a 4 gallon a minute with a downstream injector and an X-Jet or a J-Rod and put it in a bucket, 5 gallon bucket. That's what I did starting out. I had a big regular, and that's how I started, and it worked. And I didn't go in a bunch of debt. I did it. I'm old. He's old too, right? Al could have it. Al doing $150,000, $200,000 a year doing pressure washing, and he was the $99 guy for years and years and years. He didn't know no better. A lot of people don't know no better, right? So it's about being smart with it. Physical reasons, I'm thinking of selling my 2001 pickup with a Honda 390, 4 gallon, 8 gallon minute, 12 pumps, Pen Air, 2 50-gallon tanks, 18 service, 5,500 Illinois an hour south of Chicago. It's a good deal. Does it come with the truck too? If you want to sign up and check out my dates for my in-person training, I have one coming up in April here in Cincinnati, and it will have Christmas lights also. Also, if It's a great class. After this weekend, I know what I'm going to add to it. And so I would highly, highly recommend that it's not just about the pressure washing. Yes, you get to do hands-on pressure washing. Yes, we will go do a 2-story house, is the house that I have coming up on this class. This class will be, you actually get to pressure wash the house, and you'll get to do the concrete. It's a house of one of my buddies that I'll be cleaning. It's pretty dirty, and it's a 2-story. It's a bigger house, but you will definitely get the hands-on training, and then you get all the marketing and sales and how to close high-dollar jobs. And so if you want to check that out, go to kpw.com, or you can go to King of Pressure Washing and check it out that way. Just got my equipment and LLC this week. Super fired up. Going to try and crush my neighborhood first. Good. Put out yard signs. I'm putting my trailer together next week. It was plumbed to work and not to be efficient, and I'm over it. At the time, the cost adds up when doing 3 to 5 properties a day. It does. I use UZ Marketing. They're really cheap. Moneybushes.com will take you to the same place, and you give me a bonus. I appreciate it. I'm late. What did I miss? Everything, Nathan. Thank you. If you're listing the truck for $4,000, that is a fair price. Yep. Well, it is a Dodge Dakota, so I wouldn't get too much excited about that. Yeah, very fair if it's not completely destroyed. Mine has 149,000 and is able to put 37 into bed and tow a house. Awesome. Will that class have permanent lighting? I know you've been saying maybe not. I don't know yet. Don't know yet. Hopefully I'll find out tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm going to bring my buddy to check it out with me. Appreciate it. Yeah. So if you have any questions before we jump off here, I know we're right at 45 minutes. Actually, there was a couple questions. I'm going to go scroll back up here to the top. Talk to one guy pressure washing store that has 5 trucks, and got talking to him and asked for a bunch of questions, and he told me his advertising purpose. He barely does advertising. How is that? And so this is a couple ways. Either he does a lot of commercial and he's doing advertisement that he's not telling you through LinkedIn or through different things like that, and he's not going to tell you that or not. That's one way that they get it. Or they're just not going to tell you either, is another way. Or he's lying. Pick one. You got to advertise. Now, you can get referrals. Once you start growing and you're hitting that, if he's been in business for 4, 5, 10, 15 years, you're clean, right? You're going to get referrals. You're going to get all kinds of stuff. If he spent money on a website way back when and is still ranking, right? How much has he spent in the beginning? How much has he's not spending anything now? You can get referrals if you're getting your 5-star reviews, right? There's things that will help you grow. Now, when you're in the very beginning, you can't just go off of those methods. When you've been in business for 10, 15 years, you have a name, you have a lot of information. One of the guys, and see, this is one of the things that I love about my in-person classes, is there was a guy there that did $1.7 million in landscaping, right? He's doing $1.7 million in a landscaper. Do you think that guy has a lot of knowledge in that class? Absolutely does. And he was sharing it with other people, right? This is what we do with our company. So when you come to these classes, right, it's not always, a lot of time it's the networking, meeting other people, knowing what they do, right? And so this is something that's important that you get to do when you come to my classes, and you can learn from other people. One of my classes had a guy in it that did $11 million in signs, right? Paul Gardner, and he's come 2 or 3 of my classes. So it's important that you come to these classes with an open mind, and you can learn a lot of things. How many yard signs should I be putting out if I don't have any employees and just me? 100 a month, maybe 2. 100 a month. If that's all you're doing, 200 a month. $700 in yard signs is what I would do. Sorry I'm late. Putting out 15 yard signs. Awesome. Good job on the weight loss, Jason. You are an inspiration to me. Fiverr did mine. How much should I take out for taxes? I would do 15% is a good spot to be at. 15%. I'm listening to this man. Then it impacted my revenue to 6 figures. What? Oh, I listened to this man, and then it got me to 6 figures. Hey, I tried to, man. My goal is to help 1,000 people make 100 grand a year. That's my goal, and I hope you're one of them. And there's a few I want to get to 1 million, and I hope you're one of those. But you know how you get there? Take action. Take lots of action. It don't happen just by overnight. It doesn't just happen, right? You don't just get to 1 million by, it just got to 1 million, right? Or it got to 100,000. You have to take action. You have to be consistent. No matter what you do, you have to be consistent. If you're going to do yard signs, you do yard signs all year long, or the 8 months out of the year. If you're going to do Facebook, you're going to do Facebook 3-4 times a day, all year long. If you're going to do LinkedIn, you're going to do 3 to 4 posts a week all year long. Consistency is what grows your business. And as we can be consistent, it will help you and grow in different ways, right? Consistency is the number one thing that will grow your business. Consistency compounds, because when we can be consistent, it starts spreading and it starts working better and better and better and better. But if we're not consistent and we're like, today we're going to go put out 100 yard signs, and next 3 months we're not going to do any, they're probably not going to work very good. Today we're going to do EDDM and we're never going to do it again. Probably not going to work good. But if I'm like, hey, you know what? Every 4 to 6 weeks, I'm going to hit these 5 subdivisions with EDDMs or door hangers. Guess what? It will grow your business. I promise you, it will grow your business. Consistency pays off. Consistency. Can anybody write consistency in there for me? It's raining here for the next 3 weeks at least. I have 50 yard signs. Do I wait for the stop raining or put them out so the time stops raining and leads? I might wait for them, depending on where you are. They're not out mowing grass yet, you know. And here's the other thing. You might say, Jason, some people are getting calls. You're right, but we're still not 100% where people are going to be calling us a lot, right? The grass isn't growing yet. The grass isn't getting cut. So these are things that will make us get them. What would be a good mileage to look to be at? What's considered too much? Thanks for getting back to me. I don't know what you mean by that. Don't need to go fast to make money. I have a Cummins Duramax Pal. So you are saying all I need to buy is half a brain and I'm good to go, and a little bit of common sense. You got to have some common sense. 100 people, mash the thumbs up button. Give Jason some love. What's up, Donovan? Cardone has a short sales book on audio, about $3. Good book. Unless you're F-bomb and you drive a discommissioned tank on the jobs. I am to the point. Oh yeah, I hit on that one. Convert the mail gun to software cannon. I'm old. You are old. I use e-marketing. AI sounds like if you charge enough back in the day on Dex, you would be on the beach with a beer in the hand. Pretty much. Yeah. Al would have. Al was cheap for 20 years. You're right. I thought that said AI. Because I got AI on my brain. Let's see. Are you going live? Are you going live around this time every Sunday? Yes, I do. Every Sunday night at 9 o'clock, I am live. And if you want to know when I go live, you can text KING, K-I-N-G, no quotes, just KING, to 859-696-1101. And every time I go live, I send you a text. So that way you know when I go live. It's every Wednesday night, which is I talk about marketing, and every Sunday night will be about pressure washing. Next Sunday night, I'm going to have a special guest on. He's a ball of fire. He's awesome. He's amazing. And you won't want to miss next Sunday night. It's Mr. Chris Martinez is going to be on. And so it is, I love Chris. If you don't watch his stuff, he gives out a lot of valuable information too. He actually sold his business and sold it to a bigger company, and now he works for that company. And he's a great guy that has a lot of business sense too. He didn't get there easy. His story is crazy. It is crazy. Still waiting on the person in my BNI to work on my website so I can run Google ads. Concrete, where's the best place to get a cheap 12-volt pumps? You can get them at Harbor Freight. Actually, I don't know if you can get them at Harbor Freight. That's not the place. Northern Tool is the cheapest place. I got mine off Amazon. Raise your prices, guys. That way we all win. How do I get into class? You go to kpwtrain.com and there. Or if you want to do so that's how the dates is KPW Train. Or you can go to kingofpressurewash.com, and there is where you can sign up for the membership. And I have all of it, the online portion of it. And on the online portion, I do Monday night marketing and coaching calls every Monday night at 9 o'clock. And it goes for about an hour and a half, and it is amazing. If you all focus on the side of the equation, the money will follow. It will go from 6 figures goals to 6, 7 in that ballpark. These guys price gouge, really? Nope, they don't price gouge. They know what they're worth. You just don't know what you're worth, Aunt Mo. You don't know what you're worth. You don't even know what it cost you probably. Oh, I'm making $20 an hour. I'm doing good. Yeah, and you're not running a business, you're running a job. Build one yourself. Great way to learn how it works and how to fix it. All 5 of his trucks wrapped. If so, he's advertising a crap load every day, all day. Benjamin G is the wizard of LinkedIn. Yep, he does very good off of it. Are you still using ResponsiBid? How much is it a month? It's about $200 a month is what it is. If you want to go check it out, you can go check out kingofpressurewash.com/resource page, and you'll find it there for sure. Yes, Jason, good job on the weight. Are you still on Carno diet? Yep. If so, what are your thoughts? I think it's been the best thing. So I know some people have asked. I have lost 40 pounds. And I using the carnivore diet. I do eat a little bit of broccoli or sweet potato if I'm out and eating out somewhere. But I try to eat all meat and all water. And it's actually been the easiest thing for me. I've done keto diet. I've done a bunch of other things, and I could never stay on it because it's like, can I eat this? Whereas carnivore is it meat? You can eat. If it's not, nope, you don't eat it. And so it just makes it. And you would think that you would be hungrier, but you're actually not. So I usually don't eat breakfast. I only usually eat lunch and dinner because I'm not hungry. It's kind of crazy. So I'm kind of excited about it. Is it worth getting an LLC? Yes, it is worth getting an LLC. It can help keep you from getting sued and stuff. Jason taught me to charge what I am worth, and he made me rich just by my pricing. Hoping to get our 500th 5-star review this weekend. That would be cool. I'm going to clap for that one. That's awesome. Clap on that one. You have to ask for reviews from every customer. I pay my guys for every one they get. I did too. I paid mine $10 gift cards for gas or wherever, and that was a good way for my guys to get them. I've got some more made, but this is a great way to ask for them, right? Give them a card. We're not just going to ask for them one time with this card. We're going to set up automation. I have all the automation set up here. If you want this way to do it, in kingofmarketing.io, it will come with all the automation. It'll text them, it'll email them. We're going to text them again. We're going to ask, right? We're asking. We're asking through the whole process of the sales call. You know, I teach that we ask when we talk to them when we're on the phone. We ask for it when we get to the job. We ask for it when we're done with the job. We ask for it through the card. We ask for it. We ask. We ask for that 5-star review. And when you keep asking for them, you'll get to 500 or you'll get to 1,000. I know people that are 1,000. That is a big investment, but I about guarantee you can 10x it. I will guarantee that if you take action. I'll guarantee you will do more than 10x it, 100x it actually. Moving to a new state, doing same business. What's the best way to get customers in a new town quickly? Yard signs, and try to get your Google My Business up as quickly as you can. But yard signs is going to be your best option, or Google Ads is another way. Google Ads would be my option. Would be Google Ads and yard signs. That's what I would do to get business right now. Put them out. It's much better when it rains. Last week we did 88 estimates and sold 91,000 a job. Hard work every day after day, week after week pays off. Do hard things, and that is true, right? And how many people you got selling, David, for you? Right? If you can do hard things, that's the amazing thing about this. You can grow a business. It can be done. He's going to do over $1 million this year, and you can too. It's not hard. It is hard. I would say it's hard. I lie if I say it's not hard. It is hard. It's just, but you can do it. That's the thing. There's nothing special about people that hit the $1 million. You know, David's not a young fella, right? David's old. But I know a 28-year-old that's going to do $2.5 million this year in a pressure washing business in a 15-mile radius. His name's Wesley Bloom. He did $2 million in 2022, and his goal was $2.7 million in 2023. And he's going to do $800,000 in Christmas lights is his goal. So at 28, 29 years old, he's going to do $3.5 million. Think about that a little bit. So rather David's going to do over $1 million, or you're going to do over $2 or $3 million at 28, 29 years old, it can be done. When's the best time to put out signs during the night? Time on Thursday. Either Friday or Saturday is really the best time, but sometimes it's not. I just started using ChatGPT, and man, AI is scary. How far has it come? This is it is super scary, Caleb, and this is just the start of it. So that's 3.5. 4.0 is supposed to be coming out in the next couple months, and they say it is really crazy. And if you haven't used ChatGPT and you want to say, Jason, I don't know what to write about, go ask ChatGPT. It'll write it. It'll tell you what to write. It'll write it for you. It's just a matter of you got to take action and make it happen. Jason, you are the reason why I started my pressure washing business, and my goal is $100,000 this year. Awesome. Have you thought of taking a caller on? I don't know what you mean. I just realized Money Bushes is your affiliate link for UZ. Dang, man. Sorry, I could have been helping you out. That's all right. Nighttime is easier to put up signs as traffic. Yeah, for sure. Did you run Google Ads all week, or did you cut them off a couple days that you knew? I ran them every day except Sunday. Saturday, sometimes I didn't run them on Saturday. If I didn't have someone answering the phone, I didn't run them. So Monday through Friday, I ran them, and a lot of times Saturday. Sometimes I ran them on Saturday, sometimes I didn't. Yeah, you can try to cut them back, but you know, I look at it this way: that might be that $10,000 apartment complex that called on the day I turned it off. So that's why I don't. If I'm going to answer the phone, I'm going to have them on. Hey, I'm here again. Legend of a pressure washer. Harbor Freight lasted me 25 minutes. Do you use a ball valve for downstreaming? You can. I do use it to change my gun and stuff out. So actually, if you do kingofmarketing.io and if you do the $300 package, it will come with Facebook ads. I haven't put it on there yet, and I haven't actually made the ads yet. I have them there, but I got to make them. It'll be a bolt-on for you, and I will put it on there, but it will actually be a bolt-on for it that you can run them, and it's pretty easy to run them. I'm not a big fan. I'm going to do them. I'm going to run them with DJ. So DJ's actually moving from where he was, the company he was using. I was using him as a test pilot, and he's coming back over to Jason Guyman Marketing again. And so I will be running his AdWords also and Facebook ads. And I'm going to see how well we can do with this Facebook ad tool that I got. That, if they say it works pretty good, but we'll find out. Yeah. I just, honestly, I would hate to say that I don't know many people that have had success with Facebook ads. Now, if you're doing window cleaning, if you're doing other services like that, I would say they've been successful with Facebook ads. So that's why I'm kind of skeptic. I mean, I'm going to throw $500 to $1,000 a month to it to see kind of where we're at with Facebook ads on it. But I'm not, it's going to be a test is what I'm doing it for. I'm going to test it to see what we got. Newbie, should I get an LLC and insurance before I do my first yard? I mean, it's best, but I understand sometimes it's hard, and you can try it, and before sometimes you got to get going and you got to make it happen. So, thanks. I just gotten started, done a couple jobs last year on the side, and work full time. So trying to grow, want to do stuff the right way and not get ripped off. I would go for yard signs. What to use ChatGPT? Everything. I would lie if I said I didn't. I use it for my video scripts. I use it for my blog. I use it for my social media posts. I use it for everything. Good evening, and while watching tacos. The people who spend the most in marketing make the most. That's usually the case. All right. So again, you can go check out kingofmarketing.io. That's where I'm doing different things. It is a website stuff, but it's more than a website. It's not just a website. It is the basic one is just basically a template website. The second package has a lot of stuff behind it. It'll give you a phone number. It'll hook to your Google My Business. It brings everything into one place. If you miss a phone call, it'll text the customer, and then it starts working down a workflow of asking that customer its name and different things. So now we have that information, and then it will call you or text you again. Soon as they fill out a form, it will automatically text you. Because did you know if you don't get that form back within 5 minutes, the study is like you will have like a 99% chance of losing that customer, because they're going to go to the next person. So within 5 minutes, it's going to text you. It's going to then call the business owner. As soon as you answer it, it will call them. And so we're getting that job done as fast as we can. So go check out King of Marketing. Also, if you want to go check out the membership at Monday Night Marketing, where I talk about Monday Night Marketing, we're on Facebook right now. We're talking a lot about Facebook. Last month was all about Google My Business. Now we're talking about Facebook. Go check it out. And then the in-person trainings, man. The next one, we will have a nice 2-story house that we'll be cleaning. So you learn all about the chemicals. You learn all about how the processes, the safety, everything like that. And then on the second day, you'll learn everything there is about marketing. You'll learn about yourself. You learn about love languages. You learn about the DISC program and how people sell and how people buy. You learn all kinds of awesome stuff there. And then on Sunday will be Christmas lights. So if you're wanting to do Christmas lights in 2023, I would recommend getting this done now, so that way you will be able to get it done and be ready for it. So that way you will be ready to go and ready to do. I just started a week ago, did a $200 house wash with no chemical. It was rough. I bet it was. Also, I only have a Toyota Camry to put all my equipment in. Learn how to soft wash. Either join the membership or start watching my videos. I have videos on all how to pressure wash a house with the chemicals to use, the whole 9 yards. I have about 1,000 videos. If you don't want to go through the 1,000 videos and find those, you can go check out kingofpressurewash.com, and there I have all of it in there too of how to do that. You can do it. And yes, you can do it, Joe. Tried to upload my GMB verification multiple times, telling me video cannot be uploaded at this time. Oh, Brie, I know. I hate Google right now. Google is not making things easy. The one thing I would tell you to do is if you haven't already, get a website. I talk a lot about this in my class too, of what all you need to do before you do your Google My Business. A year or two ago, you could just go get your Google My Business and you were done. Now it's best if you have a website, you have a bunch of citations, you have you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, everything, so that way it knows that you're a business. I just bought my new enclosed trailer for my pressure washing business. I'm wrapping in my head over what to put on the floor to protect it. Herculiner, not sure you recommend. Herculiner didn't last very long. It did all right. You can use, I know if you do like Rhino Liner or Line-X, it's expensive, but it will last longer than Herculiner. Just my opinion. But Herculiner didn't do very good. But yeah. But hope you all have a great night. I hope you all learned something. I'll be back on Wednesday night. If you're in my Monday Night Marketing tomorrow night, we'll be learning more about Facebook. We might even talk about whatever about Facebook, because Facebook is a way of getting business. It isn't just the only way, but it is a way. But I hope you all have an amazing night. I had an amazing weekend. It was awesome. I got to meet 10 awesome people, and so it is definitely something that it was awesome class. So hope you all have a great